Welcome back to Lost in Games. I'm Josh Bearheart Hawk, and today, by popular demand, we are going to be starting what may be an entire series of videos. At the very minimum, it's going to be 4, maybe 5. We'll see how I break this down. But essentially, in the Philosophy and Ethics series, over the first couple of months, 2.5, 3 months, I don't remember exactly how long it was, we were breaking down The Walking Dead, Telltale Games The Walking Dead, episode by episode, and going through kind of the big points of the episodes and trying to break them down a little bit and talking about them in my own terms and that kind of thing. So, but one of the things that a lot of people asked me was how I went about approaching some of the smaller choices and how I went about thinking through and my thought process for some of the things that I didn't talk about in those videos. So, what I decided to do was to sit down here and basically commentate on my own experience and talk about my own playthrough. I've got all of the all of the videos here, so I can go through episode by episode and just break them down and really kind of just dig in and talk about my thought process as I was playing through the game. Now, it's not the same as being in real time necessarily. It's more of a retrospective. But it's still kind of the same type of thing. At least I feel like it. All right. This is going to be kind of an unscripted thing. It's going to be just kind of an off the cuff. We'll talk about things as they come up and just kind of have fun with it and be a little bit loose and relax. Like I said, this is going to be 4, maybe 5 episodes. I want to keep the series in general, each episode short enough to digest in one sitting, 25, 30 minutes or so. But for those of you that have the time and want to sit down and watch the entire thing all at once, I'm going to be uploading all of these at the same time on a playlist, so you could just binge every single episode, starting with this one, for the next about 2 hours or so. So whichever way you choose to watch it, thank you for being here. I've got a Patreon and memberships and all that kind of stuff, so we'll talk about all that at a different time or later on in the video, but I like to mention those things because I do appreciate everybody that watches, everybody that joins the Patreon and channel memberships and all that kind of stuff. You all are awesome. You've been a great community. We just passed 5,000 subscribers, so, you know, props to all of you for all of that. But that being said, I do want to go ahead and jump into the first episode and just kind of talk through things and see where we go. So we'll go ahead and put my headphones on here. I normally have a streaming. I've had this as a streaming setup in the past, but that's not what I've been doing lately. I might stream at some point, get back into that. If you all want to see some more live stream type of stuff, if you enjoy this kind of content, and especially longer form stuff, it's just hard sometimes to do the streaming, you know. Look at that wonderful Walking Dead opening. The first time I played this game, and especially this scene right here, looking out on basically what was the iconic scene from the show, and seeing that kind of made into a video game version, obviously a lot different. You don't have the Rick walking down on the horse and all that kind of stuff, but the idea of like, okay, pre-outbreak, we have the highway looking into the city. I thought that was kind of cool. This cop, I wasn't sure exactly what to think at first with this, okay, because Lee is the the guy you're playing is Lee. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm playing as a criminal. What the hell's going on? This guy's in the back of a cop car from day one. And how do I respond? How should I act with this cop and that kind of thing? Early on, I will say that a lot of my choices, I tried to be as friendly as possible. So the way I approach a lot of situations is very pragmatic. It's very much looking at how to get the best possible outcome, what makes the most sense. And when it comes to things like talking to this cop, because I didn't know, right? Starting off, the very first thing out of the gate, I didn't know what to expect with this cop, right? As far as I knew, I was going to be stuck with this guy as the episode played out. Obviously, that's not the case, but I was trying to be nice to him because I'm like, okay, I'm going to wind up in a situation where I'm going to have to talk to this guy. He's going to have to like rely on me, or I'm going to have to rely on him to survive. So that was kind of my train of thought as I was trying to figure out how should I approach the conversation with the cop. Now, this, I did appreciate the fact that this gives a lot of backstory for Lee. It even gives a little bit of it even gives a little bit of backstory for the cop and that kind of thing, which is kind of cool. Not that he ever really plays into it anymore after this. But I will say one thing that bothers me that I didn't particularly like with the way that this played out. Starting, you're in the back of the cop car. You're being transported to, I'm not sure if it's the state prison. I assume it's a state prison. I think it's more than a county jail if you're being transported there. And okay, so we have the helicopter up there. We've got the cop cars flying by. We've got all of this stuff going on, and it's clear that something crazy is happening. And yet they still had a police transport. Like, this guy has... He turns off the radio, obviously, because he doesn't want to hear it. But, like, they scheduled him to take Lee to the state prison when shit has already hit the fan at this point. The timeline bugs me a lot when it comes to the early stuff because, like, it seems to me by the time we crash and we have zombies coming out of the woods and everything at us here in a minute, that just seems like that would have been something noticed well before they decided to send Lee off to the state prison, you know? Like, I get you still want to follow the justice and all that kind of stuff, but like, you're trying to send this guy off to state prison, and there's zombies crawling everywhere. And here's one right now. You got to pay attention when you're driving down the freeway, guys. So we get the crash, the zombies outside the car, obviously attacking the cop right now. Which, okay, fine. The zombies are out. They're all over the place. They're attacking the cop. Whatever. We will just move past the fact that there's no way in creation that this cop should have been taking him to jail. We'll just forget about that for now, okay? Now, I think this was probably a great way to introduce the character to the situation. Because what would you do? Like, put yourself in Lee's shoes. You're in the back of the cop car, expecting to spend the rest of your life in jail.
Hey, officer, are you all right?
The officer almost hits somebody on the freeway. Crashes, and then you got to figure out. You got to break yourself out of the car. You got to figure out what to do. You know, like.
I need to drag myself up.
And I love how they're, yeah. Some of the controls and stuff kind of irritated me with the game because I don't need Lee to tell me that he needs to drag himself out the window. Like, I click on something because it's there. It's a possibility, right? And this doesn't even look that far off the freeway. That's the other thing. Like, cop car crash, there was all kinds of traffic around. Somebody would have seen this. There was other cars around the cop car. Like, I guess you can't get too into the game logic, I suppose, because if you start thinking too much about it, it just unravels and falls apart. I can't blame the game necessarily. There's a lot of flaws that the Walking Dead series in general has. Robert Kirkman is good, but there's a lot of things that are left. At least in the writing for the games in this show, I don't blame all of that on Kirkman because the studios had to make decisions. And the comics were fine. I read the first couple of seasons of the comics, and I enjoyed them. I got up to, what was the last thing I read? I've got the Compendium somewhere around here. That's the first couple of like big things that gets up through, I believe, the farm, if I remember correctly, because I think they get to the farm because Rick has to go back and dig up Shane and find out that Shane's still alive. So I really can't necessarily blame Robert Kirkman for all of this. So don't take it the wrong way. But the writing leaves a lot to be desired in these kind of situations. But this is really fun. You know, the cop comes back to life. What do you do? You know, again, put yourself in Lee's shoes and thinking about why. What's this cop doing? He's growling at me. He seems to be like mentally not all there. He's trying to kill me at this point. I will say I don't like the QuickTime events. Okay, this is one of the things that I will pick at throughout the entire series is the QuickTime events and having to do these really fast-paced things, and especially when it comes to aiming and that kind of thing. I just don't like that. I'm here for the story. I'm here for the deciding what to do and how to do it and all that kind of stuff. So when you have to like hurry up and rush yourself through figuring out what the best options are, I hate that.
Go get someone.
And there's Clementine. We don't know that yet, but there's Clementine. I find it funny that she never mentions that. Like, that's something I kind of expected for her to be like, were you the guy that I saw with the wrecked cop car? Like, she doesn't mention that at all, which is just, I wish they would have thrown some kind of line in there just to acknowledge the fact that Clementine sees you. And then again here, the zombies have taken over the woods. They're everywhere. This is something that has been going on for a while. Based on how many zombies are around. Okay, that's just facts. So I refuse to accept the fact that they had Lee going to a state prison on this day. Okay, I promise that'll be the last time I mention that. Of course, now into the backyard of the house. I think that the only reason Lee is safe here is because of the sporadic gunfire. I'm assuming somebody else is in trouble and having some difficulties. So once we get the zombies cleared out, and then Lee gets a chance to scope out the place. At this point, you still have to be questioning, though, as if you're Lee. Like, cop tried to kill me. There's these weird people that are like, they look dead, but what the hell's going on? Everything seems abandoned. I was just on my way to prison, and everything now seems abandoned. It's just so weird. I just don't... I don't quite get it.
I'm not getting up there anyway.
And no ladder. I wonder, Clementine must be a hell of a climber. Like, she got up in that treehouse really fast.
Anybody up there?
We should have timed out exactly how long it took
Anybody in there?
from the time we saw Clementine to the time we got to the treehouse. Because that couldn't have been more than like a minute. So she would have run over, climbed over the fence, or maybe found a hole in the fence. I don't know. She might have had another way in. And then climbed up in her treehouse and goes to hide.
Maybe I should just check inside the house through the glass door before wandering out into the neighborhood.
That annoyed me. When you're supposed to have a little bit of freedom to do what you want. And I understand they have to like push you into the story they want you to go off of. But to tell me I can't go. I mean, I'm glad that they didn't just put an invisible barrier there. Instead had Lee like be like, maybe I should go check the house first. Like, that was frustrating to me. It doesn't feel like you have as many choices. Early on, I understand, kind of, because it's almost a tutorial. This first section here is almost like a showing you what you're up against, how to play the game, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of get it, but it's still frustrating from a gameplay standpoint. And I can't help but wonder. We're going to find out in a minute that the babysitter's still here. And I can't help but wonder, where the hell's she at right now? I mean, I suppose there's... I don't know if there's anywhere she could have been hiding. Maybe behind the table or something, someplace we can't see behind the camera. But I don't know where she would have been at.
Jesus.
And how? How does Lee slip and fall? Like, how does that happen right there? Lee, Bud, you just looked down and saw the puddle of blood on the floor.
Maybe there's something.
Like, what in the world?
3 new messages. Message 1, left at 5:43 p.m.
Hey, Sandra. This is Diana. We're still in Savannah. Ed had a little incident
I
with
do
the
like
police
this
at
right
his
here.
house, so we had to get him
The
back.
kind of build up to what happened to Clem's parents.
Anyway, he's not feeling well enough to drive back tonight, so we're
I
staying
kind
an
of-
extra day. Thanks so much for looking after Clementine, and I promise we'll be back in time before your spring break.
We'll be back before you have spring break. I enjoy that, though. I like that they show kind of a build up. This is what happened. They didn't know what was going on. Somebody attacked him, her dad,
Aren't telling us
you
anything
know,
about
and then shit's just kind of hitting the fan.
Please, just leave the city.
But again,
Take Clementine with you back
I cannot stress this enough. Where is the babysitter right now?
Please let me know.
She's about to attack us.
Message 3, left at 6.
Like, I wish they would have at least had some kind of indication of where she came from.
If you can hear this,
But that's just a me
call the
thing.
police. That's 911. We love you.
It's like the saddest voicemail.
We love you.
Like, you gotta wonder what happened there. Like, I would love to have seen, from the perspective of her parents, that breakdown of how things went.
Daddy?
Had to get a drink as Lee, too. Now, I forgot which drawer the walkie was in at first.
Hello?
You need to be quiet.
Are you okay?
I don't like some of the dialogue choices they have.
But I'm hiding until my parents come home.
They seem very limited at times, which, again, limitations, restrictions, but it's still frustrating sometimes when I'm playing through and I'm like, I just want to say something different than what they have.
What's your name?
I'm Clementine. This is my house.
Hi.
And of course, with Clementine, you try to be
Where
as nice as possible because you know, even if you've never played the game before, you can tell you're talking to a little girl.
They're in Savannah, I think. Where the boats are?
But she could have mentioned at some point that Sandra
I'm outside. in the
wasn't
treehouse.
doing good.
They can't get in.
Smart.
See? Can you see me?
And here we go.
I can see you through the window.
She's about to see the zombie. She's about to see Sandra. Now, in a minute, we will beat down Sandra. And Clementine's going to be like, yeah, there's a robber in here. I think she's been dead for a couple days, and the robber got... And Lee's slipping on the blood again. But, like, you failed to mention that, Clementine. You could have said that ahead of time. Hey, look out for Sandra, by the way. She's the babysitter. She was in there a couple days ago. I don't know if she still is or not. And, of course, she does show up to save us with the hammer and everything. I feel so bad for that babysitter. Like, that's got to be, like, triple overtime. She should have gotten paid a lot more than she was probably getting paid. Okay, I may have overkilled the babysitter just a little bit. But honestly, at the time, it's like, what's going on?
Man.
This dead thing is coming after me. I just need to make sure it's not going to get back up, you know? And that makes sense early in the whole zombie apocalypse thing. Trying to figure out what's going on and wanting to make sure that the dead are going to stay dead this time, you know?
Before me, I think.
I heard her scream 2 nights ago. Maybe one of the
Heard her
nights
scream
before
2
that.
nights ago.
2 nights ago? Yeah.
Think about that for just a second. She heard her scream 2 nights ago. You've been in the treehouse for 2 nights
Yeah. I want
while
my
your
parents to
babysitter was in the house? When did she go to the house? I want to know the backstory. How Clementine wound up in the treehouse and when she left the babysitter. I want to know
Look after you until
what happened there.
What should we do now?
Okay, look for help before it gets dark, or go out once the sun goes down.
Need to find help before it gets
I
dark.
most every single time I go during the daytime,
At night.
because my thinking is, if we wait till night, first of all,
Stay close.
who knows what else is going to be out there at night? We can't see where we're going at night. It just makes sense to go during the day. And we need to find help, right? So why wait around and hide in the house until it gets dark? Now, if you wait till it gets dark, I'd forgotten about this when I was first playing it through, and I didn't talk about this much because this choice, on the face of it, didn't seem like that big of a choice to me. But there were people that were like, why did you choose to go during the day? But if you wait till night, instead of winding up finding Shawn and what's his face here we're about to meet. I can't remember his name. Chad. Chad? No, that's not right. We'll find out in a minute. But anyway, instead of finding them, you find Shawn with a cop. And it turns out that Shawn's friend has been killed at some point in the evening.
What's the matter?
Should I
And
stay?
presumably because you didn't go out to help.
I don't want to sleep in the tree.
And
but I don't
You wind
know
up
if
going
I
back
should
with the
leave.
cop in the back of the cop car, which is kind of ironic because you came into this whole mess in the back of a cop car. Do you really want to get back in the back of another cop car?
Let's go somewhere safe that's close, okay?
That's a good idea.
Now, I wish they would have given us more options to talk to Clementine because, on the subject of her parents. Because honestly,
Holy shit.
Chet is his
Not
name.
gonna hurt you.
Yeah. Thought for a second you and the little
I just had to
gonna give us the chump.
It's driving me nuts. I think it's Chet.
We need help.
Are you trying to get out of here? Because you should be.
But like,
All over the damn place.
yeah, I don't know that I would want to get in the back of another cop car.
Downtown
I'm just,
Atlanta, 15 miles back. I'm Shawn Green.
This is Clementine.
yeah, Chet, there we go. I knew it.
We shouldn't be out in the open like this. How about you help us clear the way, and we'll take you and your daughter out of here.
I think I might have missed it, but I'm not sure. I think they were just like in town when this whole thing went down. But it seems to me,
Just some guy.
and just some guy. I'm some random stranger, which technically isn't wrong. I think Shawn's reaction is a little better than Herschel's, but we'll talk about that when we get to Herschel. But I would love to be able to talk to Clementine a little bit more about, hey, look, here's the deal. I heard your parents on the answering machine. That there might be some problems there. She might not be happy about that, and she might have some struggle with that. But realistically, we are letting her have this false hope that her parents are alive when we heard on the answering machine her father was attacked. And yeah, we don't know the details, but it doesn't sound good. And especially because they're like, get out of Atlanta. How they know about Atlanta, I'm not 100% sure. They must have seen it on the news.
Some guy? Seems like you saved a bunch of
But
lives.
like, something bad happened, right? I love that he just said, for some guy, you just saved a bunch of lives today. Technically, you only really saved one. By coming out early, you saved Chet's life. Maybe the police officer didn't make it because of that. We don't know. I would love to find out what happened. If what's the reverse of that? You come out at night, Chet dies. If you come out during the day, does the police officer wind up later like saving somebody else or dying himself? Inquiring minds want to know.
Hey, Shawn, I'm gonna run on home. My mama's gonna.
And of course, we made Chet's mama happy because we
I'll catch
saved
you
him.
tomorrow night.
So that's a good thing.
It was nice to meet you both.
Now, I don't remember a lot about Herschel in that from the comics. I don't know a lot of the lore, okay? So when I first saw him, I was thinking Herschel from the show. Not even thinking about the fact that like there's some differences in the way that they approach that.
Well, I'm glad you took him with you then.
And I kind of get
You brought a
why they wanted to have this cameo and they wanted to have him on the farm. I'm not a big fan of it.
We won't stay long.
I wish they would have done something different, something more interesting than just like, hey, here's some more stuff from the comics.
so it's just
You
your
because
then.
while it's fun to have those cameos, and there's people that enjoy those cameos,
Some guy who found her
I want to see a different story with different characters that we don't know. And we are seeing that to a point, but we still have some references to like Herschel and Glenn later and all that kind of stuff.
Well, looks like you heard.
And I love that Herschel's just like, little girl, do you know this man? He's just some guy you met. Do you know him? Like, what do you expect her to say, man?
Run on in and check on your sister. You.
Like, I'm not a fan of Herschel because I think he's a little too... I don't know what the word is. He's just not my favorite person, honestly.
Swollen to hell.
And he beats around the bush with Lee a lot.
Be worse.
That's what it sounds like.
And I chose to be honest with him.
Things got awful.
All right, I'm going to choose to be honest
What did you say your name was?
because
Nice to meet you, Lee.
my
I'm Herschel.
mindset, especially early on, I think most people early on in this situation
How'd this happen?
would try to be as straightforward and honest with people as possible, unless you have something to hide that you're like afraid they're going to be mad about. But I think most people in the situation would try to be at least a little bit like
The news says stay.
Yeah, well, that's a mistake.
honest and straightforward. You know,
Those things you've been hearing about on the road.
who were you with? A police officer.
I was with a police officer. He was giving me a ride.
I love that it says Herschel believes you.
I'm an awful nice guy.
House is
Like,
up with mine.
Herschel believes that you were a criminal. And you know he's looking at you. Herschel's the kind of guy, I'm sorry, but he's in Atlanta, or he's in Georgia.
Get your name, darling.
He's a white farmer in Georgia, and he's the kind of guy that's looking at Lee, and he's like, black guy in a police car, yeah, we got you. Like, that's what Herschel's thinking right now.
Find her parents.
Hey, Dad. So I'm thinking, first thing tomorrow, we gotta reinforce the fence around the farm.
That doesn't seem necessary.
And this whole thing, this is the thing that really irritates me about him, is he's in denial about what's going on.
Hitting the fan. I don't
The military's going to roll through and save us all. It'll be fine.
Your son's right. You're going to want to fortify this place.
Stuff like that doesn't happen around here, Shawn.
Like,
Dad,
really?
be
You're going to be in
serious.
denial, man?
Come on. Tell him what you saw out there, man.
I saw a cop come back from the dead.
Well, do what you think you should. We got plenty of chores.
Yeah,
to
he's
do.
just so...
Lee and those folks in the barn can help out in the morning. We gotta do
He's
it.
just straight up like, I don't think the world's coming to an end. We're fine. And then, like, even later in the comics
Start to feel better.
and in the show, when we see, like, he puts walkers in the barn, he's like, well, we can save them all. We'll bring them back from the dead. Like,
What do we do then?
at some point, you got to be realistic about this stuff. You can't just be in denial the entire time. You can't just pretend like the world's not coming to an end, because it really has come to an end.
There's blankets
And
and such. In the
you've got two people now, your son
bright and early.
and this new guy that just showed up telling you this. You've got a family staying at your farm who
What's making us?
apparently ran into their own difficulties earlier in the day and has seen people coming back from the dead and eating people. So you've got all of these things happening. And you got to open up if you're Herschel. You'll be like, okay, you know what? Maybe something's not okay here.
It smells like...
Manure.
Now, I try to walk a tightrope with Clementine. I want to be
Just like that.
honest with her. But I also like, she's a kid still.
I missed
So you got to be careful in a way,
I bet.
at least early on. We find out later that we got to get some more, we need to build her up to be a little bit more of a survivor. But right now, it still could technically, like, come back. You know, you don't want to be naive like Herschel and be like, no, everything's fine. The world's great. But also, you got to be like, okay, we've had some hard times before. Some shit's hit the fan. You know, maybe we'll recover from this.